Wham Radio is an alternative media outlet and is not regulated by any authority other than its creators.
Wham Radio and any of its affiliates are not responsible for your ignorance and due diligence. Please support the freedom of speech.
Good evening and welcome to Wham Radio. We have a Mutiny Radio. I'm Marlboro Man from Top of the Line Productions, and coming to you from the dark side of the moon is Miss Anarchist.
Good evening, Marlboro Man. How are you tonight?
I'm fantastic, Ann. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well tonight. I'm actually happy with what's going on the network right now. It's actually doing very well tonight.
As a matter of fact, I have to mention myself, yes, we're in our third show or something like that, and we've already got 3 sponsors. That would be one for each show. I think that's right. Is that right?
Pretty much. And not only we got sponsors, we've been getting a lot of good reviews on our videos and stuff, so this is just giving us more juice to keep going.
We'd like to thank you all and keep listening. We're going to go ahead and pay some bills right now, mentioning one of our first sponsors of the evening, Mr. Anthony F. Albergo, attorney at law. Get your free consultation today at 708-510-1675. If you find yourself in some type of trouble with the man, call Anthony F. Albergo, attorney at law, 708-510-1675.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Marlboro Man. Now, I want to lead off tonight's topic on, it's a really touchy subject too, religion.
Oh, that's right. It is a touchy subject. There's a lot to talk about with religion, so we'll do our best to give you the gist of it, and definitely gonna ask you to do your research because there are a lot of details that we're just not going to be able to go into this evening. But we encourage you to go look on your own. That is part of the fun of living, I always say.
That's right, Marlboro Man. The first thing we always should say in this type of business is don't take our word for it. Go see for yourself.
That's absolutely correct.
Now, I want to go over the word religion itself. Where did the word actually come from versus what we're told in school what the word means. So let's go into the 2 different versions of the word religion. Now there's the dictionary version versus the etymological version. Remember, a dictionary dictates meaning, whereas etymological is the original meaning or the origin of the word. The dictionary version of the word religion is a set of beliefs held by a population. So that's all they're telling us what it means in school, Sunday school, at home. What our version of common knowledge of what the word religion means is a set of beliefs that is held, by a population of people.
A core belief system.
Basically, where they derive their morals from. Now, the original word religion comes from the Latin word religare, meaning to tie back or hold together. Now, in this world that we live in, that's very magical and beautiful, yet chaotic and cruel. There's 2 of everything in this world. Just, you gotta understand that. And most religions today are created to tie back the heart or the mind of mankind. Whereas a true religion, or a living religion is what it should be called, would hold together a population. So, religions we have out today, which we're going to go over, especially the 3 main religions there are out there. What is it? Christianity, Islam, and Judaism.
Yes.
Right?
Let's not forget Hindi.
Yes, they're also up there. But we're
yeah.
looking at Western religion.
Yes, tonight we are, yes.
So, a true religion would hold together a community or a population of people, whereas, a fake religion A real religare would tie back the hearts and minds of those who subscribe to it. Now, Marlboro Man, you wanted to talk about the kinds of holy books there are, mainly the Bible, since it's a very, it is called the greatest, story ever told.
Yeah, that's right, actually. The Bible is one of the main ones I want to get into tonight because not just because it's the one I subscribe to, but we are in America, so the majority of the population here subscribe to the school of thought that's presented and brought out in the Bible. And there are a lot of misconceptions about the Bible, mainly because it's not uh, it's not for everybody to understand right away. It was actually written to conceal itself from the authorities. There were hundreds of authors for the Bible, and they wrote it purposely in some heavy, heavy code in order to make it appear as though it was a kind of a mainstream book at the time.
Now, can I just touch on that a little bit? See, back then when the Bible was first being produced, exactly, you are right. It was written in a code, in a way. See, back then, the only people who were allowed to read the Bible were the priests. Because back then the peasants were illiterate. They didn't know how to read. That's why they had scary statues, put all over the buildings, and all these like beautiful mosaic glass windows to like illustrate parts of the Bible, because most peasants back then, were illiterate, could not read, didn't know how to write. They couldn't read something as complicated as the Bible. So back then, the only people who had access to knowing of the Bible was the priests.
That's right. And that's another reason that it was written with blueprints from other religions that were very popular at the time, so that even uneducated people could understand it. And the reason for that is they already knew about these other popular religions, so they were able to absorb it much more easily. Religions like Greek, Roman mythology, Judaism, obviously, the Old Testament is all about that. And then, of course, you also have Zoroastrianism as well. Or you have Horus, the sun god.
That's right.
Yeah, so the sun and the fire. Yeah, that all
Yep.
kind of comes from there.
That's right. And a lot of that symbology that goes behind the creation of those kind of religions is the concept of the triune God, the Trinity, or the Trivium, they like to call it, where uh, in most of those religions, what is it? In Christianity, you have the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. In Judaism, it's Abraham, Isaac, and the other the other son. He wasn't that important. He wasn't the one that was gonna be sacrificed.
Wasn't that Isaiah?
I'm not too sure. I don't want to say it is and then it sounds stupid.
I wish you'd have mentioned that earlier.
But there's the concept of the triune God, which is, the Trinity, the Trivium, where they cover up the true meaning of the Trivium, which is mind, body, and spirit. What truly makes up our free will in this world that we live in, the material world and the non-material world. We are a consciousness accessing these physical bodies in this like world, and we are given free will to be able to do things. And these religions are created to mask the true meaning of life.
Yes, they wanted to make sure that the message got across throughout time. And it's a very simple message. It's the message to use your free will to think for yourself, which is a very anti establishment message. It was illegal at the time to think for yourself. And it's basically still that way now. And a lot of that has to do with the Roman Catholic Church.
That's right.
Which is separate from Christianity. That's the thing people don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because Christianity is the study and worship of Christ. because it's in the name Christianity, Christ. It's right there. The Roman Catholic Church, on the other hand, is the
Christianity.
yes, Christianity, which is anti-establishment. Christianity, you're supposed to be practicing, thinking, and doing things on your own, helping others on that can't do for themselves.
That's right.
And you're not supposed to. You're supposed to do the right thing as opposed to the legal thing.
That's right.
Because the right thing is not always legal to do. Imagine a world where it's illegal, for example, to help your neighbor, and that's happened before.
You know where that's called?
What's that?
The United States.
I can't really argue with you on that one. When's the last time anybody out there helped their neighbor? I'm sure everyone does it all the time, right?
Yeah, all the
They all
time.
have the old lady next door. But yes, Christianity, very anti-establishment, religion, spirituality, and then you have the Roman Catholic Church, which is the establishment trying to control the religion.
Right.
So they're trying to use the Bible against us. They're trying to use our own spirituality and our own belief system and
Exactly.
our own principles against us.
That's right.
And they've taken over much of the world already.
Oh, pretty much. They are the very first corporation ever created.
That's right.
Of course they would, by now they've been taking over the world. Look at how long they've been around for.
Exactly.
They've had plenty of time to develop and evolve their methods. They don't have to use as much violence anymore. Now they use coercion through, buying out everybody's debt and just, making people owe them money.
And the reason that you hear about so many Catholic priests molesting children is actually because the Catholic Church has ties to the Church of Satan. So there are many, not all, of course, there are many good priests out there. They don't all know about things like this. But there are many, there are factions, I guess you'd call them, of priests that practice Satanism, actually. So their goal is to use the Satanist belief system disguised as Catholicism and try to get people to become slaves to Satanism. And that's why you hear about these molestations with the Catholic priests, because they're performing rituals. They believe in their sick mind that it gets them closer or able to speak with God or Satan or whatever it is that they're that
Trying
they've
to
been
talk to.
trained to believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I just wanted to make sure that people kind of understand that there is a reason for everything. There's a reason behind some of the crazier shit that seems to keep going on in the world, and yet nobody does anything about it. And there's a reason people don't do anything about it, because they're not allowed to. It's
Yeah.
illegal.
Yeah, and the arms of the Catholic Church, of the Roman Catholic Church, is stretched itself, all throughout the Western civilization. It has its hands in everything. With the Roman Catholic Church, we wouldn't have the IRS.
That's right. That's right. And remember with Jesus and the changing tables, and yet the Catholic Church is basically another way of saying the IRS.
Or when Jesus went to the church, when people were trying to get people to buy stuff from the church, and he basically told them, like, why are they trying to take the people's money if they're a church?
Yeah, right. They were vendors setting up
Mm-hmm.
and trying to sell stuff, and he knocked over the changing tables. He really made him very, very angry,
Oh, yeah.
because that's not the principle that you stand on when you're a true Christian.
Or not even a true Christian, having a true religion.
That's right.
If you had a true religion, it would not demand you to peddle other people's money.
That's right.
Now, what other, kinds of science do you think is involved in the creation of the Bible?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. And as a matter of fact, Jesus was a carpenter, as we all remember, and there's a good reason for that. He was a carpenter because at the time, they were very different than carpenters today. They were extremely educated. Not saying that a carpenter today isn't educated, but I mean extremely. because they were expected to do such huge things. Someone studying to be a carpenter, for example, is going to end up learning architecture. So they needed a working knowledge of science, and they needed a working knowledge of the world around them. And Jesus was even better than that because he had a working knowledge of spirituality and the human condition as well. So he possessed a lot of knowledge. And that's why there's a lot of people who read in the Bible about Jesus performing miracles and they automatically call bullshit and say, "Oh, well, that's impossible. That could never be. That's a fabrication, a manufactured lie." And the fact is they just don't understand that a lot of those miracles are entirely possible through the use of science. And someone who, for example, knows a lot about the human body, or like I said, the human condition, or how people react to different things, would be able to make a girl wake up. He would be able to recognize that she was not actually dead, because that's one of the Bible stories. One of the miracles that he performed at a funeral, actually, for the girl, and then she woke up and said she was hungry. Another good one is when Jesus walked on water, and a lot of people, I can understand, don't believe that, but that actually did happen because Jesus was, again, he was an actual person. He was just sparking change, and he was the best at it. Um, what he did with the Sea of Galilee in order to walk on water was because he knew the area, he knew the lay of the land. He was able to, he had the knowledge that when certain times of the year, the Sea of Galilee forms a thin layer of ice underneath because of the weather conditions. And thusly, he was able to appear as though he walked on water. And of course, he was not a deceptive person or anything like that, but it needed the hearts and minds of the people to understand the power of believing in yourself. And that's the most important thing. That's another real good, simple point message that the Bible tries to make through all that code.
I agree. I agree that Jesus Christ had a good message in the New Testament. I do not subscribe to any religion or a specific school of thought, but I do read the Bible, and I always pick out certain verses in the New Testament that really help me, uh, overcome a lot of hardships, because Jesus, again, I would do believe was the very first anarchist.
That's right, Anne. That's absolutely correct, Miss Archist. He was the first anarchist. He believed in do no harm, take no aggression, and like I said, he was very anti-establishment. He was definitely the original anarchist, although maybe not the first. We call him the original anarchist because he was definitely the one that made the biggest name for himself.
That's right, and that is why Jesus is the sun.
That's right, the light.
The
Yeah,
light of the world.
because if the sun didn't come up tomorrow, folks.
We're all fucked.
Yeah.
And when you learn that Jesus is the sun, we're all fucked.
I'd just like to take a minute to pay some bills here. And another fantastic sponsor for tonight, a very special sponsor, in fact, the National Suicide Hotline. If you're feeling blue, pick up the phone. They're there to talk and here to help. National Suicide Hotline, 314-371-1155. That's 314-371-1155 at National Suicide Hotline. Back to you, Ann.
All right. Well, thanks, Marlboro Man. Now, I would like to open up another part of the topic in religion is the differences between Western philosophy and Eastern philosophy religions, and some theological differences and similarities. Now, of course, both preach love.
That's right.
And to tell you the truth, the similarities it's a very short list. So of course
Okay.
they preach love, and they also preach a type of like unity agenda or like goal, and they it's a wide they're both widespread and worshipped uh, uh, philosophies. You know,
Right, right.
like they're not there for no reason. You know, people do practice them to this very day. You know, especially believe it or not, I can't believe Taoism is still very widely practiced, even though it's considered a dying religion.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, Taoism is a discipline, as according to 50% of Taoists. The other 50% are okay with you saying that it's a religion, but they believe that it's a discipline. So, in fact, 50% will get insulted if you call it a religion. But it's there, again, to help people live their life and get better at things. Think for yourself. It's there to promote individuality, which is what most all the Eastern religions promote is individuality.
Yeah.
Self studying, self
Self-discipline.
meditation, self discipline, self exploration by yourself. Do it by yourself. That's
Yeah.
the big message there.
Now with
You can do it by yourself in a room full of people like the monks when they chant, but they're in their own zone, trust me.
well, like the Western philosophy, it's more of like a training. Like
Right. Conformity.
yeah, and it's if you think about what is it, the Roman Catholic Church again.
Yeah, that's right.
There's the training going on. Each what is it, the before they become cardinals, they have to be priests.
Right.
To go up in ranking. And then when they become cardinals, only one can become pope.
Mm-hmm.
But they all have to be trained, to become pope.
Yes.
And then, it just, keeps going like in this little pyramid scheme.
Right.
Whereas in like Eastern philosophy, it's all decentralized. Usually, all the people who are participating, usually have a say so in the way how that discipline or religion is being promoted or followed. They have some type of say so in the aspect of what how they interact with their religion or their spirituality. Whereas in Western philosophy, you have no say so. It's you know the Pope says so, and that's it. Nobody questions what the Pope says, or the cardinals, or whatever they decide to throw out there that they think is moral or immoral.
Yeah, that's right. And as a matter of fact, the Pope doesn't actually have the real authority. And I'll tell you, this is an argument between Catholics and Christians. Catholics, according to the Vatican, claim that when Jesus gave Peter the keys to the kingdom, he meant for him to continue his church here on earth, and that was the symbolism behind the keys to the kingdom. However, the Christians would argue that when he gave Peter the keys to the kingdom, he was just saying, hang on to the keys, these are the kingdoms to the gates of heaven. Now, the funny thing about okay, so this is an argument between Christians and Catholics. But the funny thing about this is that there was actually no Peter to begin with. That name comes from Peter, meaning father, going back to Jupiter, which was a Roman mythological god at the time, their main god, in fact. So there wasn't actually anyone named Peter. So Jesus could not possibly have handed the keys to Peter because there was no Peter.
That's right. The statue.
Therefore, the Pope wouldn't have authority even by their own interpretation.
That's right, because the statue of Peter that they have at the Vatican is not even the statue of Peter. It's actually the statue of Jupiter.
That's right. Yeah, we came from ancient Rome, and it's Jupiter.
Yeah, so people have been kissing the feet off of Jupiter this whole freaking time. They don't
Isn't
even
that
know it.
something? Isn't that something?
His feet are almost gone because people think he's God.
And isn't he?
It's like
in
one
this
of those.
world?
It's like one of those things where like I die and then I go and see God and I go, oh my God, it's Zeus.
That sounds a little scary.
But I agree with a lot of, what you have to say about the different kinds of philosophies because I do see the this the brainwashing, especially with the Western philosophy, because it creates a lot of order followers and conformists. Everybody who worships some type of Western philosophy religion have some hard time wrapping their heads around certain truths or even half truths. Whereas in like Eastern philosophy, it creates a unity, but through individuality, where everybody knows we're all the same, but we can all be different at the same time, and it's okay.
Right, right. It is okay to be different. We have the right to individuality. And the reason for that, we can think for ourselves, or we're supposed to think for ourselves. They're trying to erase that in people, but we're trying to preserve it.
That's right. The divine creator, the pleroma, where we come from, they gave us the right to free will, and we are able to experience life through these meat bags we call bodies.
Then I don't know about you, Ann, but I'd like to use my free will for preserving and not destroying.
Oh, I agree. I try to.
I don't have anything better to do.
I try my best to do no harm, but I also won't take no aggression.
No, that's right.
Not here at
No, at Top of the Line Productions, we do not fuck around.
or at Wham Radio, because
Oh,
you know
that's
what?
right.
We have a mutiny, guys.
We have a mutiny.
All right, Marlboro Man. Well, I guess we'll just wrap off this topic.
Yes, Ann, and before we go, I'd like to take just one more moment to read from one other of our sponsors, a very special sponsor as well, because he's been with us for a little while, as a matter of fact, and this is one of the first times that we're able to advertise for him.
All right, give a shout out to Tom.
Hey Tom, how you doing out there? Need great computers and accessories at affordable prices? Check out Upscale Audio Exchange near downtown Berwyn. They have a great collection of DVD players, laptops, desktops, and computer accessories. For great customer service and selection, call Tom at 708-484-2694. That's 708-484-2694. And that's Upscale Audio Exchange near beautiful downtown Berwyn, right off the BNSF line.
Well, thank you so much, Marlboro Man, and you have yourself a good evening.
You too, Ann, and to all our listeners out there, you as well have a great evening, and enjoy a better tomorrow.
All right, now this has been Anarchist from the Dark Side of the Moon, and I will see you later.
Marlboro Man, Top of the Line Productions, signing out.